always a buzz whenever the Canadians come west, and there certainly is a GM Place tonight in anticipation of the only meeting of the season between the Canadians and the Canucks. And as is often the case, there's a good chance Canadian sweaters will outnumber Canucks jerseys in the crowd at GM Place tonight. Kelly, are you like everyone else simply expecting more from the Canadians with Bob Gainey behind the bench?
I am, but I think that'll come over time. I think they have to get used to him as a coach, and as Sheldon Surrey said, he keeps it nice and simple. What I'd like to see is the players follow through with that theory, and the two guys that are really playing, in my opinion, real well right now, and Richard Zednik and Jan Bulis. Now, two different kinds of players. Bulis, incredibly fast, smart with the puck, and you'll really notice him. He jumps right out at you. Zednik is a little bit different, maybe not the same kind of speed. Real strong on the puck. When he's in the corner, you're going to find that the Canucks defensemen are going to have a real hard time battling with them.
Montreal's big problem is on the road. 1 win in 15 games away from the Bell Center. What should the Canadians be most worried about at GM Place tonight?
Well, they're going to be challenged to compete. And you know that Vancouver, they're going to use their speed against them and their physical play. And they're going to challenge guys like Mike Ribeiro, because Ribeiro's a guy that has talent but wants everything easy. And they're going to see tonight if he wants a player, if he's going to wait to show up in Carolina instead.
You know, of late, there haven't been a whole lot of questions about the Canucks goaltending because Alex Auld is passing every test. What's not to like about the way the young guy's playing?
Well, not only has he been real strong for the first 3-4 months, he actually continues to get better. And one area that you really notice it is lateral movement. And Alex Auld continues to get better there. His poise is amazing, and because of his strong play, we all know that the Canucks are probably looking for a goaltender, but this is delaying this process, and they can actually wait to find the right guy, because you don't want to go out there and make a trade and maybe it's not a real upper echelon guy. Auld is delaying that process because he continues to get better and better.
Bit of news that Ed Jovanovski skated yesterday as he tries to come back from that sore groin. Skated for about 30 minutes again this morning. He's going to make the road trip with the Canucks. They start a 7-game road trip on Monday. Hopes to play at some point during the trip, but the record, Kelly, says they've handled his absence really well. Do you agree?
I would agree, albeit I'm sure that they'd rather have Ed in the lineup, and we're going to see that depth that the Canucks have, and an important reason why they're having success.
All right, the Canadians have won 2 of their last 3, so they think they're headed in the right direction, and the Canucks know they are as winners of 6 of their last 7. To Jim Hewson and Greg Millen.
So there's 2 teams then without a top defenseman tonight as Andrei Markov continues to sit out with an injury, a shoulder injury for the Montreal Canadiens, a team that started, Greg, 13-3-3, and I think we all asked the question, were they as good as that record? Maybe not quite, but also I don't think they were as bad as the 5 of 6 losses when Claude Julien got fired. So it figures if they're going to turn it around, they have to get their top players being their top players, and I think it starts with Alexei Kovalev. How about you?
Oh, absolutely. And, of course, he was injured for 13 games, which didn't help them either. But when you have Alexei Kovalev being creative and going, his next goal is his 300th goal, his next point, his 700th, to give you an idea how he can put up numbers. He's a point a game right now, 31 points is for Ryder. He's working on another 20-goal season. His next goal will be his 20th. With Koivu in the middle, this line has to be great and put some goals on the board for a team that doesn't score a lot of goals, the Montreal Canadiens, particularly the way Bob Gainey's going to play. He's going to sit back a little more and play a much better defensive type of game.
Well, I think that line will get its goals, and so I agree with Kelly's point that then Bulis and Zednik are going to have to jump into that second line with Radek Bonk as the center is going to be very important. But it always comes back to goaltending when you talk about a team turning it around, and Jose Theodore, as Bob mentioned, has been very competitive. He's been better. He's trying to erase the bad game, and he's going to have to be very good for this team to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I had a nice talk with Jose today, and the one thing he said to me, with Bob Gainey coaching, he will not have the quality A-plus chances right in front of him that he did in the past. And that's one of the things when you have a Gainey coach, he keeps things away from the middle, and players don't have the time and space for a goaltender. Then you can play your game and play much more of a methodical type of game. And I think we'll see Theodore have a big second half. I don't think there's any doubt about it.
Greg, the Vancouver Canucks had their little slump around Christmas time, and they pulled out of it. I think it's simplicity that's helped them pull out of it. They went to a very basic physical game and let that get them started. They've got 3rd and 4th line players now who can really rough you up. They're hard to play against. They may not score a lot, but the players that are listed on the bottom of this screen can really make it tough for an opponent.
Well, they were a flashy team the first half of the season, and sometimes flash and dash works, but other times it gets you into trouble. And I think the Canucks were finding it within their group that they were getting in a little bit of trouble by being too flashy, and they had to come back to the basics and play a harder game and play a game that's a much more physical brand of hockey, get 4 lines going, and suddenly now they look like a playoff team, not so much a fancy Dan type of team like they were in the first half. And if they're a playoff team playing with guys like Bertuzzi starting to play hard, then you're in business. And I think the Canucks, if they find that out and all continue to play well in goal, suddenly now they're a real good hockey team instead of just a good team.
Even their top players, Brendan Morrison with Bertuzzi and Marcus Naslund, have tried to add a more of a physical dimension to their game. And there's Steve McCarthy, who's one of the players who's filled in nicely with Ed Jovanovski out. Here are the Montreal Canadiens on the West Coast for their only visit in the next couple of years, unless the schedule changes.
That's a joke.
I agree. As East-West interconference play comes to an end tonight. They don't quite get the cheering that the Toronto Maple Leafs got out here, but people still come out to see the Habs in droves.
Yes, they do, and that's why the league has to change this. This is a joke. To not see the Habs out here for the next 3 years is criminal, and I think you'll see the league do something about it, Jim. Look at this.
It's a classic sweater night. The Canadiens always have theirs, and the Vancouver Canucks will wear their jerseys from their first few seasons in the National Hockey League that began in 1970. It's Montreal and Vancouver from the West Coast on Hockey Night in
Canada. Well, back at GM Place, the Canadiens arrived in Vancouver late Thursday night after a 3-2 loss to the Flames in Calgary. They managed only 18 shots in that one, so they'll have to fix that part of their game tonight. And the Canucks bidding for their 5th straight win at home, and they've prospered against teams from the East. After beating Buffalo here on Thursday, Canucks are 8-1 against the Eastern Conference this season, so Vancouver will be lamenting the end of interconference play tonight. Canucks, hugely popular on the West Coast, but when the Canadiens come here, we're likely to see almost as many Montreal jerseys in the crowd as Vancouver sweaters, and that will be the case tonight. For the 3rd time this season, as Jim mentioned, the Canucks going with their classic jerseys. They're 2-0 in vintage sweaters with wins over Boston and Toronto, and they'll try to make it 3-0 against another Original 6 team tonight. Now, stand by for O Canada with Mark Donnelly.
In the singing of our national anthem, O Canada.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons' command. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Another all-Canadian matchup on Hockey Night in Canada. You know, it used to be the Montreal Canadiens would almost go on a vacation in the West and on the way home take 2 points from the Vancouver Canucks. Not so anymore. Vancouver's won 5 straight in this building against Montreal, unbeaten in their last 8 overall against the Habs, as the two meet for the only time this season tonight. 29-year-old Jose Theodore says he's working at eliminating the odd bad game. He seeks that, well, always hard to attain, consistency. 25-year-old Alex Auld has found that consistency for the last 10 games anyway. He's been very good, and he wants to keep it up so that all the goalie watchers on the West Coast will finally take notice. The referees for tonight's game are Mark Jeanette and Tim Peel. Lyle Sykes and Mark Wheeler will work the lines. Almost as though to make a statement in his last few games, Mark Crawford has started a 3rd or 4th line, a rugged line, and he wants to set the tone with a forecheck and some hits. And he'd like to do that against Bob Gainey's team here tonight. So he starts Josh Green in the middle of Jarkko Ruutu, and Trevor Linden has moved to the right wing against Bob Gainey's top line of Saku Koivu with Michael Ryder and Alexei Kovalev, and the Canadiens get the puck into the Vancouver zone. Craig Rivet pinching in, got a hit, but the Canucks got the puck out to center. Rivet and Surrey, the top defensive pair, I think will probably, as this game goes on, Greg, play a lot against Morrison, Bertuzzi, and Naslund. A rugged and experienced top defensive pair. Ryder keeps the puck in for Koivu to go after. Here's Josh Green in his second game since being recalled for the 5th time this season from Manitoba. Both teams would like a change here. Jonathan Furlong has run hard into the boards. That's what Vancouver wants early in the game. There was a hit from Jarkko Ruutu at the end of a shift. And in the midst of a change, Todd Bertuzzi's come on, now joined by line mates Morrison and Naslund. A centering pass, they score! Brendan Morrison. 57 seconds in, Vancouver has a 1-0 lead.
Well, a horrible mix-up behind the net for the Montreal Canadiens. It was one of those, who wants the puck? You get it. No, I don't want it. You get it. As the puck comes down low behind the net, here comes Sheldon Surrey. He doesn't get the puck. And guess who does? Bertuzzi, who just centers it right out in front. And a gift for Brendan Morrison in the slot. And Craig Rivet just skated away from the puck because he thought his partner was going to get the puck. And his partner thought he was going to get the puck. Well, Todd Bertuzzi got the puck right out to Brendan Morrison. No chance for Theodore on that first goal of the hockey game early.
You take it, I got it. Oh, they've got it.
Exactly.
Just like in the first game tonight, a goal for the home team in the first minute. There's Alex Burrows in over the blue line, and Vancouver comes right back to the attack, and barging towards the net was defenseman Brian Allen. Nolan Baumgartner is number 4 for Vancouver, back for the puck. Brendan Morrison has really picked up his game in the past couple of weeks. And he's picked up his 12th goal of the season with Todd Bertuzzi assisting. And Vancouver's top line strikes early. Radek Bonk and Alex Burrows battling for the puck. Burrows, number 14 for Vancouver, is a Montreal native. He grew up as a Canadiens fan on the West Island in the Lakeshore minor hockey system. Thrilled to be in this game tonight, and here he is with a goal! They're cheering in Lac Saint Louis tonight.
And champs in Montreal, all his buddies are tonight. They're cheering there as well. And this is the story of this kid coming up from the East Coast League, working his way to the National Hockey League, following a dream that nobody else thought he would get except him. And here he is scoring against a team that he grew up watching. What a story. And it's all about out-muscling Radek Bonk in the corner, gets the puck. 2 Montreal Canadiens go fishing for the puck. Look at the work ethic at Burrows. He just keeps grinding it out, grinding it out. The puck comes loose. Theodore looks the wrong way, and guess what? The kid gets a goal against the team he loves as a little kid. What a story, Jim. And look, this is a 1-on-2. I mean, the Montreal Canadiens are on the wrong defensive side of the puck. Bonk has to be on the other side of Burrows. He's on the inside. The puck scoots out. Bonk's stuck. Goal.
2 goals in 54 seconds. Burrows has his 3rd of the season, and they've all been hard-working goals, all 3 of them, as he has his official NHL hat trick. Here's Daniel Sedin headed for the net. Deep stopped by Theodore. And this is going to be a rout in a hurry if the Canadiens aren't careful. Chance after chance for the Vancouver Canucks. They're already ahead 2-0. And now they're going to the power play. As you look at Alex Burrows, who grew up playing hockey with Matthew Lombardi of the Calgary Flames, went to Shawinigan and played with the likes of Marc-Andre Bergeron.
And he said if the boys weren't a champs, they'd be at the El Perot tonight watching the game, all his buddies. And he was a landscaper in the summer to make money when he was playing in the East Coast League. I mean, he thought there was no chance he was going to make it to the National Hockey League. And here he is, and here's the first Montreal penalty, a hook. There.
Here's the power play, and it's Sammy Salo going to work.
Commissaric's in the penalty box for the hooking call.
The hooking penalty at 2:22. Well, there's a lot happening early in this game. None of it good for the Montreal Canadiens. 2-0 Vancouver. Todd Bertuzzi leads the power play into the attacking zone. To Marcus Naslund. Puck was poked away by Craig Rivet. Out there was Sheldon Surrey, who clears the puck off the board. Steve Bégin can't clear it. Brendan Morrison. Marcus Naslund takes over. At the blue line, Steve McCarthy winds up and fires. Tipped just wide by Morrison, who almost had his second. Salo to Morrison. A centering pass picked off and cleared by Steve Bégin. And both teams will make changes. For the Canucks, it'll only be the defense. Bertuzzi, Morrison, and Naslund stay out with McCarthy, and now Matthias Olin comes on. Bertuzzi, then Naslund with a sharp angle. Now Marcus Naslund hasn't scored in half a dozen games. He's been battling a groin injury, and he's playing every game, but he's not quite at 100%. But he doesn't want to get out of the lineup.
You miss the odd practice here or there when there aren't many anyway. It's pretty difficult sometimes. Even if if you don't practice at 100% because you can't. It's hard to stay up with the game. The league sort of goes by you sometimes when that happens. Although I still like his game, Jim.
Consequently, though, he just hasn't had the jump that he wants. Sedin's and Anson Carter out in the second power play unit. Vancouver uses 2 power play units. Different defense on them. Daniel Sedin to Henrik Sedin. Anson Carter takes up his position around the net. We'll often have a tap-in from the Sedins. He's got 18 goals. Every one of them assisted on by a Sedin. Most of them twice. Daniel Sedin. Henrik's in the slot. Tips the puck towards the goal. Olin scores! This time Matthias Olin cashed in on the Sedin's work, and it's 3-0 Vancouver.
And nothing's going right for Jose Theodore. I mean, Olin missed the shot. Theodore was in position. It was a broken play in front of him. Now keep an eye on him. He's looking past the traffic. Anson Carter does a nice job in front. But instead of the puck coming through to him on the slot shot, it hits Craig Rivet right in the big toe. Ends up right on Olin's stick, and then Olin misses it. And it goes right between his legs. How long does Bob Gainey keep Jose Theodore in the net? In a moment, he's going to leave him there for a bit.
It's only 4 minutes and 20 seconds into the game. There's Cristobal Hewitt, the backup goaltender. And usually, am I right, at this time of the game, the backup goaltender doesn't look at the coach. He doesn't look at the other goalie. Just looks straight ahead.
If it was me, I'd be down the hall. Especially so early in the game. How often it's better if you're going to go in early. At least you're a little bit warm, which is 3/4 of the way through the hockey game.
Worst news for Montreal is that a defenseman has scored for Vancouver. Matthias Olin has the goal, and the Canucks are 17-3-3 when a defenseman scores a goal. I think they're pretty good when they have a 3-0 lead, too, although that's not one I have on the tip of my tongue. Matthias Olin keeps the puck in. Here's Josh Green. He's got Ruutu working in front of the side of the net, trying to stuff the puck in, and he almost did. And Jose Theodore was able to keep that puck out on the goal line, and boy, this rink is tilted.
And Theodore looked the wrong way again. He did in the first goal of the hockey game, or the second rather, and here he looks the wrong way over his left shoulder. You'll see him there, and then, whoops, almost doesn't get back against the post. And that was very close to being in. There's Theodore. Look at his head. He's looking the wrong way. Oh, now he sees where the puck is, finds it, gets his pad just enough. And boy, that's very close to being over the goal line. Very close. Now Montreal calling a timeout. Bob Gainey's seen enough. And it'll be interesting to see what Jose Theodore does here. He's going to listen to the coach. Look at how close this is. If this is a couple of inches to the left, this puck, it's in. And Theodore is pretty smart to drag that right pad and push it over the goal line. Let's have a look from this angle. Well, it's not in, but it's close. It's very, very close.
Now, Jose Theodore, after coming out of that huddle at the timeout, will go back in the goal. The Montreal Canadiens trailing 3-0, outshot 6-0. They've given up a power play goal. This is a team that's not even in the top 10 in goal scoring, so they're a long ways behind already. In comes Saku Koivu to the front of the net, and the puck was kicked away.
Well, what it does, Jim, is get them out of their game plan, too. I watched them in Calgary the other night, and they were quite committed to trap and sending one man in and playing a very defensive style. Now, of course, they've got to get away from what Bob Gainey's been trying to do with them and play an aggressive forecheck here to get back in the game. They're going to have to activate their defense as well.
That's a tough game to play against one of the top teams in the Western Conference that's deep and loves to run and gun. Here's Ryan Kessler, a speedster for Vancouver, trying to get to the net. He's steered outside and taken out hard along the boards by Matthew Dandino. Zednik checked by Alex Burrows, who almost ran into his own man, Kessler. Burrows, Kessler, and now Wade Brookbank takes a shift with them. All bangers and crashers. All with lots of energy on Vancouver's third and fourth lines, and that hustle of Burrows is going to draw a penalty as Boulis took off. He didn't hear that the whistle had gone. Burrows was taken down, and there'll be another Montreal penalty, and things are going from bad to worse.
And guess who it is? The same lazy player on one of the goals is now in the penalty box, Radek Bach. He didn't show good battle behind the net on the Burrows goal, and now he doesn't show good battle or a decision when the same kid had the puck in the neutral zone going into the slot. There's Radek Bonk in the hook, in the penalty box for hooking.
Well, Bob Gainey said he'd know a lot more about his team and get a better look at them. I'm not sure that he likes what he sees at all here. He's behind the bench with Guy Carbonneau, the future coach, his associate right now, and Doug Jarvis, watching as Vancouver 1-for-1 goes to a second power play. Bertuzzi, Naslund, and Morrison moving on the attack. Steve McCarthy and Sammy Sallow, the appointment in the power play. Jan Bulis, leading scorer on Montreal for the month of January, has had a bit of a hot streak, shorthanded here after McCarthy. Killing the penalty along with Steve Bégin. Matthew Dandino, Francis Bouillon. Bégin couldn't get through. And here's Marcus Naslund. Sammy Sallow, Bertuzzi off the rush. Made a nifty little play and moved the puck back to the blue line. McCarthy. Brendan Morrison. Steve McCarthy drags the puck into the middle and passes to Sallow. Bertuzzi quickly across to Morrison. The puck bounced off his stick. Naslund takes over at the goal line. Todd Bertuzzi waits for Naslund to turn around and face him, then gives him the puck. Over a minute gone in the penalty. Bertuzzi to McCarthy, and he hit the side of the net. Backdoor play, and McCarthy couldn't quite finish him. He had room to.
Pass was a little hot.
Marcus Naslund, Bertuzzi, McCarthy's come to the front of the net again. Sallow to McCarthy, trying to center it. Lost the puck in his skates, but he recovered to get control. Brendan Morrison, finally an interception. And Craig Rivet clears the puck the length of the ice. Half a minute to go with a Radek Bonk minor penalty.
Vancouver has been very successful on their power play, moving the puck quickly. And when you move it as quickly as Vancouver has, Montreal, who like to chase on the penalty kill, can't do it because they run out of position.
Here's Daniel Sedin with Henrik Sedin and Anson Carter, who's got 18 goals and has gone to the front of the net. Henrik sneaking in is Nolan Baumgartner off the left point. So there's two players in front. Matthias Holland winds up, shoots. Jose Theodore at the top of the blue made a nice save, and the puck is cleared as Radek Bonk steps back on the ice. And Vancouver's 1 for 2 with a man advantage. And they're 5-on-5 again. 8 minutes into the first period. It's already 3-0 for Vancouver. Ryan Allen holds the line. There's going to be a penalty here on Daniel Sedin. The Canucks will be penalized likely for holding. He used that free hand to grab on.
Shots 8-1, Jim, for Vancouver here already. 8-1.
You're watching Hockey Night in Canada on CBC from Vancouver.
Well, Daniel Sedin here is going to get a hooking call, and that free arm, as you mentioned, Jim, was out just enough to draw the penalty for holding. Sorry, holding, I said. Did I say hooking?
You did say hooking.
Started with an H.
I knew what you meant. It was a penalty.
And it was a hold.
Montreal Canadiens go to the power play. They're 10th in the league. Their power play has been pretty good. 8 power play goals in the last 3 games, but 28th on the road. Their power play hasn't been very good away from home, and it needs to be here tonight. Radek Bonk is out on the power play. Craig Rivet back on the blue line. Sneaking into the front of the net is Mark Straight. Zednik and Bulis out here with Bonk on the power play. And the Canucks clear the puck the length of the ice. Josh Green. And Vancouver will change up its penalty killers. Richard Zednik. Stopped in the neutral zone by Brian Allen. Kevin Bieksa is number 25, Grimsby, Ontario native, out of Bowling Green University. I wonder if he knows that that classic sweater of his was worn by Orland Kurtenbach.
And during our commercial break, Henri Richard, there he is, the great Montreal Canadian player, was honored. And the whole place, Jim, went crazy, as you can hear. It's wonderful. A standing ovation, 11 Stanley Cups. A legend in Montreal, a legend across the National Hockey League and Canada. And again, a case for wondering why the league has come up with the schedule the way they have.
All people out here very fond of seeing the big Eastern teams, of seeing Montreal and Toronto. And you know, 3 good Western teams, Vancouver, Calgary, and Edmonton, are all good this season, and they will not play in Toronto, Montreal, or Ottawa.
It's criminal. Got to change.
Here's Alexei Kovalev. He can really dangle. And they need him to now. Saku Koivu to the blue line, straight to Sheldon Surrey. got the screen, Ryder in front, he tipped that shot. Then Kovalev couldn't quite get a handle on it at the side of the goal. Salo trying to clear the puck. Mark Straight can't hold it into the line with 40 seconds to go in the penalty to Daniel Sedin.
I'd like to be the Detroit Red Wings, with all due respect to having St. Louis and Columbus in your building 8 times. That's hard in the attendance as well.
Not hard in the standings, though.
No.
Surrey this year anyway, and you know how cyclical that can be.
Yeah, but you know, again, I was talking to Joel Quenneville about that, and here's Colorado in their division, the Vancouver Canucks having to scratch and claw for every point, and with all due respect to the Detroit Red Wings, they get a few gifts once in a while this season. Too many gifts.
Here's Mike Ribeiro heading for the front of the net. Couldn't quite pull the trigger at the last moment. Ribeiro doesn't play much at 5-on-5, but he gets some power play time, and he was out there getting to the net. Daniel Sedin returns to the ice. Montreal is 0 for 1 on the power play, trailing 3-0 in the game, and we passed the midway mark of the first period. Ryan Allen, he was hurt for a while earlier this season after a great start, and he's now returned to form. And he played the puck to Todd Bertuzzi with Brendan Morrison, lost control of the puck, and there's a penalty being called on the play, and it will be against Matthew Dandino of the Red Wings for hooking Todd Bertuzzi, and Vancouver's going back to the power play.
Play as Bertuzzi was cruising in. However, Matthew Dandino got Bertuzzi's gloves, and as you can see here, both refs decided it was a penalty at the same time.
If it's on the stick, it's probably all right, but because he got up into the gloves, it's a penalty. Vancouver's power play goes to work for the 3rd time, 1 for 2 so far. This is a power play that has scored 12 goals in the last 6 games.
You think of this Montreal Canadian team trying to get back in this game. The other night in Calgary, they had 8 shots on goal with 5 minutes to go in the second period. They just didn't create anything.
They're on a similar pace, Greg.
I know, that's why I brought it up. A little scary, isn't it? If you're a Montreal Canadian fan.
And there's a lot of them here.
Well, they have 1 so far.
1 shot. Naslund tips the puck in. Theodore sets it up for Mike Komisarek, who sends the puck the length of the ice. And Alex Auld is yet to be tested and really hasn't had a chance to get into this game. Marcus Naslund. Brendan Morrison with Bertuzzi. Nolan Baumgartner at the point on the other side for Matthias Olin. Naslund spins and deals to Bertuzzi. Morrison. Naslund now takes over. Bertuzzi high in the slot, turns for the front of the net. Baumgartner got turned around trying to get possession. Into Brendan Morrison. Naslund cruises through the slot in front of the net. Bertuzzi's down below the goal line. Morrison stops up, tried to drag that forward down and go to the point. Now he does. Baumgartner shot, rebound. Naslund had his shot blocked and it trickled wide. Bertuzzi for Naslund, he scores! And Vancouver's captain bumps a 6-game goalless slump. It's 4-0 Canucks.
One of the problems with the Canadians and their penalty kill here, when they lose possession, Vancouver, due to a shot on goal or something, there's no puck recovery for Montreal. And this is the case on this shot. The shot goes wide here. And there's a chance for puck recovery by Montreal. They don't get it there. And then Naslund just cruises in off the half boards. Nobody picks him up. And again, no chance for Theodore. There's the rebound. And again, the puck's to the corner. And Matthias Olin just wins the foot race. And then Naslund wins the foot race to the front of the net and tuck it in past Jose Theodore.
Number 23 for Vancouver's captain at 12:15 on the power play. The Canucks have 2 goals and 4 power play opportunities.
I mean, the rebound went out by Theodore, but somebody's got to get a stick on that puck if you're Montreal, and somebody certainly does when the puck goes behind the net as well.
Andre Kostitsin with a pass to Dandino. His shot goes wide of the net. Kostitsin looks like he's going to have a great future. Gets into the lineup tonight because of an injury to Chris Higgins, who's out. Canucks Alex Burrows trying to clear the puck, and he gets it out to Jarkko Ruutu. A Ruutu chant starts in the building as Ruutu gets in and gets a bit of a hit on Kostitsin, not much though. Naslund from Bertuzzi and Olin is the last scoring play at 12:15. A power play goal that makes the score 4-0 Vancouver. Here's Anson Carter. Centering pass. Daniel Sedin couldn't get a shot. Now a backhander. Henrik scores.
That's enough for Jose Theodore right there.
Yep.
Hewitt's going in the net. You can't blame Theodore for any of this mess. But when your starting goaltender gets embarrassed like this, you got to get him out. You just have to.
Wow. 5-0 Vancouver. Henrik Sedin at 13-17 gets this one.
And missed assignments all over the ice. And everybody's chasing the puck here from Montreal, looking at the puck instead of taking players in front. And Sedin just cruises. How easy is this for him? Matthew Danino stands right beside him, tries to get the puck instead of taking his man. What's Theodore going to do? That's ridiculous. That is just poor defensive soft play by the Montreal Canadiens all over the ice.
10 shots, 5 goals, 10 one-handed shots overall, and the Canadiens have Cristobal Hewitt in goal instead of Jose Theodore. No one could have seen this coming. Or did they? Here's Josh Green to the net. Hewitt tested right away by Josh Green as the Canucks go right back to the attack. With Green, Linden, and here's Wade Brookbank to Trevor Linden. He shoots, he scores!
Is it a full moon? Trevor Linden's had 1 point in his last 15 games, and he just throws one towards the net, and it goes in. Again, he can't believe it. He's wondering, why the heck did I ever do this? At this moment, anyway. That's a heck of a shot.
That's like the young Trevor Linden off the wing.
He got all of that. I mean, you had here, I mean, he didn't see it. It was just, and it may have hit the Canadiens' skate on the way in. That may have hit Komisarik's skate. I'm not sure. We'll have to have another look at it.
6-0 Vancouver. 14 minutes into the game. And a 16-game goalless drought ends for Trevor Linden. On a vintage shot in a vintage sweater. This is not a vintage score with Vancouver playing Montreal.
It's an awful feeling. You feel like you let down your team. You're wondering at the moment what you could have done to be better in this start. And it's like a bad movie. You just can't believe it. All of a sudden you're out of the game. Before the game, your preparation is good. You feel good. You're ready to go. And then all of a sudden you're sitting in the hallway wondering what happened.
6 Vancouver goals in the first 13 minutes, 47 seconds. This is a great outburst for Vancouver that ties a club record for most goals in a period. Matching a 1987 record set against Calgary. Blitzed the New York Islanders last Saturday, scoring 8. Here's Todd Bertuzzi. They are 8-1 against the Eastern Conference, and this is their final game, sadly for them. Kevin Biek's over the shot.
The Eastern Conference has to be happy that this is over with, the way they played against the West this year. Overall, it has not been pretty.
Tell you what, Greg, this is a tough division to wade through. To come out here and play Calgary, Edmonton, and Vancouver. The Canucks have been the beneficiary of tired teams coming into this building, having had to slog their way through Alberta on a couple of occasions.
And that's exactly what it is. When you play a Darryl Sutter team, you're playing a hard game. And when you play a Craig McTavish team, you're playing not only a hard game, but a team that can really skate.
Fast game. And then you come here and face Vancouver.
Calgary, by the way, can skate as well.
And you get the same sort of thing.
Yep.
Here's Andrei Kostitsyn with a centering pass. But fans out here will say turnabout is fair play. There were times, as I mentioned at the outset, when the Canadiens used to come out here for a Christmas holiday and take home points from everyone. They never lost in the West.
Every Christmas, huh?
Every Christmas. To go in his first period as Mike Romero dumps the puck in, and Montreal wants a change here. Kevin Bieksa, Steve McCarthy playing together. These two have really eaten up a lot of minutes in the absence of Ed Jovanovski.
Boy, what an opportunity it's been for both of them to get playing more in the National Hockey League, and it'll only help Vancouver down the stretch in the playoffs when you do lose bodies due to injury.
The X is just getting some experience in the NHL. McCarthy's really coming back from 2 years off. He had an abdominal injury, then there was a lockout. He's coming from a long ways back. and playing some of his best hockey lately. Beijing, so sometimes there's a silver lining in that injury cloud, and it has been for Vancouver here recently with some defensemen stepping up.
Especially when you win. The cloud isn't quite as big.
Only when you win.
Right.
Matthias Ohlund fires the shot. Missed the ball. Hewitt makes the save and hangs on. Too sharp. They're going out on a 7-game.
About to bring that up. Absolutely.
And a lot of bad habits can come from a game like this if you don't keep your nose to the grindstone and do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you don't want to lose your defensive posture. That's for sure going out in the road.
But how do you go in and say, now boys, stick with it here, stick with it. We got to play a tough defensive game. That's hard to do too. You hope that your team is mature enough and experienced enough to get and realize how they have to play and finish this off. Like Thomas Eric with a shooting. Unless there's a big comeback, and there could be if they put on the brakes too early. Although I don't want that to sound like a prediction. Brandon Morris in the center. Down low, working against Ribeiro.
Vancouver penalty here for holding. It looks like Baumgartner.
Nolan Baumgartner with 1:57 to go in the first period.
And that is the one area where Vancouver just have to be very careful, is to not get themselves in any kind of penalty trouble. The Montreal Canadiens power play is one of their bright spots. It's running at about 19%, but for the month of January, it's been a 29% power play. It's been excellent. And Baumgartner with that free arm again now.
Held him too long.
There. Stinson skated away from it, and that's why Baumgartner's the penalty box for the free arm hold.
Sheldon Surrey on the power play. Craig Rivet on the other side. Zednik, Poulos, and Bonk up front. Radek Bonk with 1 goal in 26 games this season. Poulos and Bonk. Side of the net. Poulos with 2 shots. Knocked out of the air. No goal. High stick. And I'll have a look at it upstairs to make sure, but this was emphatically called off because the puck hopped straight up in the air after Poulos got the initial shot and then was chopped down into the net.
I don't see a lot of argument from Sheldon Surrey, who was the culprit. There's the puck up. Oh, yeah. No doubt about it.
Above his head, not just the crossbar.
No doubt about it. And we'll make sure from this look here, the puck goes way up over the air as it hits the blocker of Alex Auld. And as long as Surrey made contact with the puck, which I'm pretty sure he had to do for the puck to go down the way it is, let's have another look. Yep, he did. And that is definitely over the crossbar.
And the face-off comes all the way back down into the Montreal zone. Surrey gets the puck to Zednik. Poulos is headed to the Olympics with the Czech national team for the first time. The team would have been great in Turin. Slow back to Zednik. To Craig Rivet, they play catch. Bit of a screen for Alex Auld as Zednik moves in, takes a shot, blocked by Brian Allen. Poulos with a 2-footer, can't get the puck by Alex Auld. And the Canadians get their shot total up with a couple of 2-footers here on short rebounds around the net. And Alex Auld gets into the game and hangs on.
And Allen just buries Zednik as well to make sure he was cleared out. Zednik will go to the net. A couple of tricky little short plays here, and Alex Auld can't find the handle. But Allen makes sure Zednik's out of the way.
Josh Green wins the faceoff for Vancouver. But they don't get it out. Surrey threw the puck towards the net. Here's Alexei Kovalev. Looks towards the goal. Surrey coming in. The pass for Ryder in front from Saku Koivu, and he couldn't handle it. He's checked. Trevor Linden, a former Montreal Canadian, gets the puck around the board. Surrey won't let it out. Craig Rivet faked the shot, passes off to Kovalev. Surrey sneaking in. Kovalev sees him. The pass is off to Koivu in front. Stop, rebound. That hit the skate of a defender. I think Kevin Bieksa stopped that. Alexei Kovalev.
He just saved a goal, Jim.
Back to the blue line. Craig Rivet winds up and fires. Auld with a nice save. Rebound. Ryder shoots. Another save by Auld. Now he's getting a workout. Sheldon Surrey. Late stages of the period. Craig Rivet. Alexei Kovalev. Surrey heads for the front of the net. Koivu finds Kovalev to Rivet. One-timer blocked by Trevor Linden and set up off the glass, and there's a penalty being called for slashing in front of the net. And do you think that broken stick will be evidence? Matthias Ohlund gets the penalty.
And Koivu here walks in, and there is the save by Bieksa as Kovalev had a wide open net. He didn't bear down. And Matthias Ohlund with the slash will go to the penalty box. 8 seconds left in Baumgartner's penalty, so there'll be a 5-on-3 for 8 seconds. And then another full power play there is the slash for the Montreal Canadiens. 6 seconds left in this.
There's time for a shot. Francis Pouliot to mark, straight winds up, fires, that's blocked by Brian Allen. Blocking his shot in a 6-0 game.
Trevor Linden did the same thing moments ago.
That's sticking with the game plan.
Absolutely. And a nice one too. Perfectly timed by Allen. And that puck just doesn't get through. It's straight with a pretty good shot, and Allen comes up with the sacrifice play for his team.
Shots were 15-8 Vancouver, and that doesn't tell the story. It really wasn't that close. Vancouver 6, Montreal 0 on Hockey Night in Canada.
We invent.